ringing out across Tokyo, warning residents of an incoming missile fired by North Korea. The projectile flew directly over Japan before crashing into the Pacific Ocean. It's the first time Pyongyang has launched a ballistic missile over its neighbour in 5 years. The Japanese Prime Minister labelled it, quote, barbaric, and said his government is right now working out a response with the United States and South Korea. Tonight, Seoul and Washington conducted precision bombing drills showing off their capabilities. Our Foreign Minister calling the test reckless and unacceptable. Let's go to Tokyo, where I'm joined by correspondent Chris Gilbert. Chris, this was a very rare moment. Residents told to take cover as the missile was hurtling towards them. How much has this escalated the situation in the region?
Well, it is very shocking for everyone here in Japan. The people are very used to missiles being launched regularly by North Korea, but to have one actually fly over the country, as you said, is a very rare event. And so it has escalated tensions with neighbors like North Korea, China and Russia. Japan is used to a regular hum of tension, but today this was definitely a spike. Pyongyang is saying that it fired this missile in response to ongoing US, South Korea and Japan military drills in the region just last week. It also said it felt provoked by the visit of US Vice President Kamala Harris the other week. And really, the main thing here is also ongoing concerns, especially from South Korea, that the North Koreans may be preparing yet another nuclear test in the coming months, maybe even before the end of the year.
We're hearing the missile flew 4,600 kilometres. That's the longest distance ever travelled by a North Korean missile. Is that a sign Kim Jong-un's weaponry is becoming more sophisticated, do you think?
Well, clearly it is becoming more sophisticated. As you said, the longest ever missile to fly from North Korea. And what the government here in Japan believes is that Pyongyang is trying to demonstrate that the US military base in Guam is now within striking distance of North Korea, and really trying to send a sign that its missile program is advancing. A former admiral of the Japan South Defense Forces said earlier today that he has also seen increased capability of these missiles in the last 5 to 10 years or so. In fact, they can fly 3 times further than they could 20 years ago.
Japan's PM has also indicated he may, quote, drastically strengthen Japan's defence capabilities. Does that mean arming up with missiles? How do people there feel about that?
Yeah, well, it's not hard to drastically strengthen Japan's defences because it doesn't really have that many. It has a self-defence force. It doesn't have an army, and the Constitution forbids it from having an army. There has been talk here for quite some time, the last 10 years or so, about increasing Japan's defence spending, which doesn't really happen. It's currently at about 1% of GDP, and successive prime ministers have wanted to increase that to 2% of GDP, which is about the same as NATO members spend on defence as well. There's also ongoing talks about revisiting the Constitution to allow Japan to have a military again and allow it to wage war again even. And so those talks are ongoing. It's a long way away yet, but that is what we'd be looking at if we were looking at a future with a remilitarized Japan.
OK, well, thank you so much, Chris Gilbert, for your time tonight.